Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson just dropped an absolute bombshell on the NFL community. He is claiming the NFL actually told teams to not draft Shedeur Sanders. And we heard about the speculation during the draft, but now we have him from, quote, a very good source. I swear, I hate the word source. Like, okay, what's your source? Like your outlet plug? Like that's a source. Come on now. His very good source tells him this. And just think about that, Marcus. Not a bad scouting report, not draft board politics, but an actual intentional message to make him an example. So, like, is this the biggest conspiracy theory we've seen around a quarterback? We remember when the NFL was convoluting around Lamar Jackson with his extension that he eventually ended up getting. Or, like, is it just, smoke to really stir the pot, man? Let's break it down, what it means for Shedeur, the Browns, and really the league as a whole. Let's just keep it casual, bro. Very simple angle here. Do you believe Eric Dickerson? And just what's your thoughts on this, of this actually being a potential thing?
I've learned a lot of things from my dad. One thing I've definitely learned and taken with me is that he's always told me is that when someone tells you who they are, you should believe them the first time, right? So we're talking about a football league that has a rule called the Rooney Rule, specifically because minority head coaches and minority candidates for head coaching positions aren't getting their just due, right? This is the same football league that is being sued by Brian Flores for abusing that Rooney Rule. This is the same football league that watched Lamar Jackson fall to 32. This is the same football league that time and time again, you see certain black quarterbacks come out of college, come to the NFL draft, and we know what they are on paper. We know what they are on the film. We know what they are on the tape, pro days, combines, whatever. But for some reason, they keep falling in the draft. So if you're asking me if I believe what Eric Dickerson is saying is true, you're absolutely right, I believe. He's just saying what a lot of us were believing already. You can't possibly tell me that a guy who had the career that Shedeur Sanders had in college, that a guy with the numbers that Shedeur Sanders posted in college, with a guy who had the film that Shedeur Sanders put out there for these NFL scouts, NFL teams, and GMs to take a look at, you can't possibly tell me that it just so happens coincidentally that all 32 teams in the NFL said, yeah, that guy's not a first-round talent. You can't tell me that. There are a lot of idiots that work for the NFL. I know.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that all 32 teams looked at what Shedeur Sanders put on tape and said, that guy's not first round.
Yeah.
Now he's not.
Imagine if he would have played all three preseason games, Marcus. Imagine if he would have played all three preseason games. Boy, Cleveland would have their hands full. Like they already do.
Here's the problem.
Right?
Well, here's the problem for the Cleveland Browns. What makes this worse is it would be the Cleveland Browns of all the organizations that needed a quarterback that decided to pull the trigger here. Right? And here's why I think it ended up being the Browns. Because there are a couple of teams I think that should have drafted him that didn't, but they couldn't draft him after whatever. The Saints needed a quarterback.
Stop him. I invited you on here. Stop that.
But here's the thing, right? If the Saints, after let's say round 3, trades up for Shedeur, that lets us know that they were instructed not to draft him in the first round. If the Pittsburgh Steelers traded up to go get Shedeur Sanders, that lets us know that they were instructed not. But if the Browns do it, the same organization that was 0-16 at one point, the same organization that paid Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract, and he hasn't really played a snap of football, meaningful football for them since signing that contract. If that organization drafts Shedeur Sanders, everyone does it. He's like, oh, they're just dumb because they already have Joe Flacco and they already got Dylan Gabriel. It's like, oh, they're just being stupid. See, I'm on to you, bro. Like, I know how this works. If a team that actually needed Shedeur Sanders drafted Shedeur Sanders after all of that nonsense, we all would have known right then and there, obviously, even though we already did, that this was all a fix. This is all a ruse. This was all a conspiracy. I'm going to continue to say what I've been saying all season, bro. The Cleveland Browns have a tough decision to make. They're in a lose situation.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's the starter. Guess what happens the second Joe Flacco becomes old, which he already is? They're going to want Shedeur Sanders. But guess what they're going to put out there? They're going to put Dylan Gabriel out there.
No, hell no. They're going to put fucking Kenny Pickett out there.
Sorry, they're going to put Kenny Pickett.
They're going to put Kenny Pickett out there because Buddy's number 2 on the depth chart right now.
And guess what happens when Kenny Smallhands messes up?
Insane that Kenny Pickett is even still employed in the National Football League right now.
It's not.
Like no knock to him.
No, he should have stayed in Philadelphia.
Dylan, And
no,
Shedeur? Okay.
he should have stayed in Philly and just kept getting free rings, but it's okay. Joe
Should've-
Flacco, I wouldn't be surprised if Browns fans are chanting Shedeur Sanders' name the way they were chanting for Baker Mayfield when Baker Mayfield got drafted.
They're going to chant it week 1.
They are.
Week 1.
So Joe Flacco's going to crash and burn, and then they're going to put Kenny Pickett out there, and then he's going to crash and burn, and then Dylan Gabriel's going to go out there, and then unfortunately, even though I'm an Oregon guy, he's going to crash and burn, and out comes Shedeur Sanders. If the Cleveland Browns aren't serious about winning, is what this tells me.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, even after you draft him, you look at him and you say, he's fourth. There's no way after
there's
he
no
did in
way.
week 1.
Yeah.
After you admitted, as head coach Kevin Stefanski, you admitted he got no first-team reps. He got no first-team reps leading into that game. You put him out there, and he gives me that performance. Dylan Gabriel,
gives you almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. And then the following week, Dylan Gabriel lays an egg.
Yeah.
But somehow he's still ahead of Shedeur Sanders on the jump top. I absolutely believe
Shit doesn't make any sense.
I absolutely believe Eric Dickerson. I already knew that was the case, but I'm glad that the quiet part has been said out loud.
I'm glad that somebody had the gumption to come forward and just say, hey, this is what actually happened.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't deny it either, brother. I mean, what does he have to lose by saying this?
Why would he, we're talking about?
Right. Why would he lie? I mean, you really took the segment there, but yeah, it's I don't know if I've ever seen an example of you being punished talent-wise because you're unapologetically who you are. Like, in perception is reality, right? Like, shout out to my friends that tell me this all the time. What you perceive the world to be is what you're going to believe is actually happening. You look for good, you find good. You look for bad, you find bad. When Shedeur Sanders stood in that press conference and said, if you want to change your franchise, you will draft me. And he got shit on for that. Because his father has the first name Dion, he was held to the fire for that. People act like he didn't do what he did at Jackson State and what he did at Colorado. Now, yes, with the way that he acted at times and the fact that Colorado came out hot, and then nobody was saying SCO buffs by the end of the first season with Shedeur and Dion and Travis Hunter, because we saw they fell off the rails. They got humbled by USC. They got humbled by Oregon. Like, people came in and they just had to show them how it was done. I remember talking about it. There was levels to this. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like I couldn't even have come up with like a legit angle for this because it was just such a legit bombshell on the NFL community. It's like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad Eric Dickerson had the gumption to say something, and especially on the platform that he did, right? Like, it's just a matter of time before we figure out, like, what, if we ever do. You know, that's the crazy thing, is I think the way that the NFL is structured and built, guys like you and I will, I mean, of course, guys like you and I, unless we just have the credentials to move up through the league, but it's even then, right? Like, who really gets to see who makes those phone calls? Yeah. Because, you know, the whole world looks at Goodell because he's the commissioner. And like, we as fans kind of look at Goodell too.
I don't think he made that phone call.
But Goodell is just the B-boy for the NFL, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. What the NFL wants, Goodell then puts it into some sort of messaging and relays it, right? Like, am I wrong on that?
No, in fact, I'm willing to bet that this was not even like a league office thing. I don't think this was a league office thing.
You think these were like GMs talking to GMs?
I think, look, I mean, we say all the time, bro. Like
NFL, Mickey Loomis called Andrew Berry and was like, don't take that guy. The ownership
and the GMs, it's a good old boys club. Yeah. That's all it's always been. That's right. Like, I don't think this was a league office thing. I think this was a concerted effort by ownership and GMs to say, we want to send this guy a message. Yeah. And I'm going to say the same thing about this that I said earlier, and the same thing that I said about the whole LeBron James thing. As a black man, I am never going to shame another black man for doing what he needs to do to make sure his family is successful. There's a lot of people who didn't like the things that Dion had to say. If you don't like how he said it, that's your business. I'm not going to tell another grown man how to talk. But I don't see anything wrong with what Dion was saying. This is a guy who, in his own words, has 3 jackets in his closet and he didn't buy any of them. He's got a gold jacket, he's got a red jacket, and he's got another jacket. I forget what color it is. He's an NFL Hall of Famer, he's a college football Hall of Famer, and he's in some other Hall of Fame that I can't think of right now.
Probably the FSU Hall of Fame.
Probably the FSU Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Bobby Bowden really helped.
Yeah, like this is a guy who knows how these things work. Yeah. So why wouldn't he have the position that he had for Shedeur Sanders and, to a lesser degree, Travis Hunter leading up to the NFL draft?
Yeah, see,
Like,
People want to act
having
like
these
Travis and
problems
Dion
in
didn't have a
2004.
relationship, right? People want to act like Travis and Dion didn't have a relationship. People want to act like that Shedeur Sanders was not the one throwing the football to Travis Hunter when Travis Hunter had great wide receiver plays. Dion had a relationship with both of them, but because Shedeur is his damn son, this is the type of thing that's rolling out in the NFL. It is disgusting, bro, but it's okay. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me when Jalen Hurts got drafted incorrectly. There was no convolution. He didn't fall as far, but I'm like, how is Jalen Hurts not a first rounder? Like, this guy just went to Oklahoma. Yes, he had a bit of a turnover problem, but he literally came second to Joe Burrow, which everybody did. Joe Burrow was the biggest Heisman vote winner in history. There was never a bigger margin of victory for when Joe Burrow won the Heisman.
And unless there's a unanimous one, there never will be.
Yeah, 100%. Like, right. It probably will never happen again unless Arch does some crazy shit this year, right? But it's like, you know, we saw it happen with Jalen Hurts. And what's crazy is I feel like Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are literally both experiencing the same thing, because I believe that Dillon Gabriel was a more solid quarterback too, but Dillon Gabriel wasn't convoluted at. He wasn't, you know, slept on. People just really didn't believe in his talent. But I believe Shedeur's journey, like, I see the Baker Mayfield, the Geno Smith, the Jalen Hurts type of, you know, career unfolding. Like, takes him a minute to get into his spot. He might have to bounce on some teams, but once he's there, like, they're delivering. They're good. We saw it when Geno got to Seattle. We saw it, obviously, with the other couple of players that I just mentioned. So it's like, I think that's really what's in the cards for him. I do. Do you think at this point, though, that the Cleveland Browns should trade Shedeur Sanders before week 1? Because he's not going to play anymore. He's already been showcased. I mean, you go look on YouTube, his preseason NFL debut has over 1 million views. I've never seen that for a player, and I watch a lot of preseason football for quarterbacks. A lot. Trevor Lawrence didn't even get that. Baker Mayfield didn't even get that. And Trevor Lawrence was the most generational prospect we've ever seen. So it's like, yeah, the question, do you think there's even talks for Cleveland to move him? Like, you know, teams are calling and asking, like, they have to be. If he's 4th on your depth chart, but he's the emergency quarterback. Because if they really believe that Dillon Gabriel is over Shedeur, because it's Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Shedeur, if you're just comparing the quarterbacks they were in college, Shedeur over Gabriel. If you're just comparing how they played in the preseason, Shedeur over Gabriel. So it's like, I guess the example is just going to continue to be made, but I don't think they realize how much they are actually building Shedeur's story and how great the foundation of that 30 for 30, of that journey when he does get to his spot. And I'm not talking about if he ever goes on to win a Super Bowl or an MVP, but just when he gets his light. And the best way I can look at it is how Baker has recently and how Geno Smith has.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.